with addictions and stuff. And so this was Alcoholism, a narrative argument essay. But first, Ally, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you're going to talk with us a little bit about an essay that you had written and some of your struggles. So first, I appreciate you for coming in and having the courage and the vulnerability to share that. I know that can be kind of difficult.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, first, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you a Watertown native? Are you kind of from this area?
Yeah, so I was actually born and raised here, went to school here. The older I got, I've moved around quite a bit, but ultimately came back 2019 to start college. So been around here most of my life, definitely the majority.
So this essay that you wrote, it's kind of about obviously alcoholism and some of the social aspects, I think, and a little bit of what you dealt with when you were younger. Can you tell us a little bit about what triggered that? Because I think it had something to do with school, of course, too. But maybe just talk about it a little bit. What triggered that for you to write it?
Yeah. So of course, it was an narrative argumentative essay that we had to do a couple years ago back in one of my first composition classes, and the instructor said, pick something that is really true to you, like a really personal story. Obviously, you don't have to share something you don't want to share, but it was kind of funny because growing up, I would write about the same thing a lot of what I went through. I was really passionate about that for whatever reason. So I was like, okay, I'll dive into it again, but from a different viewpoint this time, because now I find myself in the same shoes of the story I shared, growing up around alcohol use and with alcoholic parents, and then ultimately falling into the path of becoming one myself. An alcoholic, not a parent, but.
So talk a little bit about maybe when you were growing up with that. I think when we're in the Midwest and I like how you talk a little bit about the celebration of alcohol a little too. It's kind of maybe even an expectation in some situations. But talk a little bit about your experiences when you grew up. It's almost, it's just the way it is sometimes.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is a great word to use, but it's almost like the culture here, I learned, it's just what you see. I mean, we hear it all the time. There's not a whole lot to do here, surface level, when you think about it. I mean, it's filled up with bars, and it's kind of just something everyone does, especially being younger. That was always a big thing is, oh, you're young, it's okay. Or, I think that was hard to come to terms with, especially growing up, being surrounded by that. You think it's normal, and you never really have to question it until, again, you're the one in those shoes, kind of taking a look around you, and you're like, wow, this has been my whole life, right? So it's interesting.
And what were some of the things that you kind of dealt with when you were a kid that you carry along with you that maybe triggered some of those you to kind of drink and carry that with you when you were older or even in high school?
Yeah, right. Because a lot of it does start young. I mean, the biggest thing, tying it into psychology, what we learn about is not all, but I think 2/3 of traumatic events, or 2/3 of people who have experienced trauma, will end up abusing substances. So not all, because you get some substance abuse that comes from, maybe getting in a car accident and getting hooked on the medication or something like that. But the majority, it starts from trauma. And so as a kid, I was going through a lot of traumatic things. The experience itself of growing up with an alcoholic is traumatic, even though it might not feel like it in the moment. And then the older you get, you learn more. You kind of realize, like, hey, maybe that's not normal, right? So a big part of my addiction was I was never healing that or recognizing that it was even there. I just was using substances because, people drink or use drugs to feel more or less of something, right? So I definitely, honestly, simultaneously was using it for both reasons. I want to feel happy. I want to ignore it,
And did you find that, it was becoming, more and more, and then you find, well, they say, misery loves company, if you will. So it's kind of like you find people that are supporting you, but it's like, it's just the same circle of individuals. So they want to use with you and they want to keep partying and so on. So it's kind of just, you're stuck in that same situation as well. So how do you, when you're trying to reach out and break out of those circles, that becomes very difficult. Did you reach out for counseling, or did you have any therapy opportunities when you were younger?
Yeah, so I do want to put most of the blame on myself, of course, right? So, when you're sad, sometimes you'll just force yourself to listen to sad music, right? That kind of thing I want to feel sad. I really was in that mindset, the teenager mindset, that angst of it. So I was, I messed up. I love this. I don't care. I don't want to get better. This is me, kind of thing. Growing up, especially when I was younger, though, I was in counseling. My mom was like, we need to get you somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But the older I got, like teenage years, where you kind of take a step back from any authority, I guess you could say. No, I really wasn't interested in that until you have to hit a point where something bad happens. And that's exactly what happened to me. I ran into legal trouble, using drugs, stuff like that. And I finally did hit a point where I was like, well, I guess I don't really have a choice. And I did get sober from the majority of my substance use, but I did ultimately keep drinking. And fast forward to where I'm at now, it was something I always kind of toyed with, the idea of sobriety. I was like, well, I could probably do it. It wouldn't hurt. But I never fully accepted complete abstinence of alcohol until now, because I realized, it starts to affect your relationships, your job, and it's just not fun anymore, when you get to that point. But it's hard when you still feel the need to use something. So, yeah, school helped a lot. Being in the psychology field, it kind of opened a lot of doors in my head, thinking, oh, this is what I have to do, and especially groups like AA, stuff like that. I've always kind of dabbled in, I guess you could say. I've tried it out. And yeah, ultimately finding community online was the best kind of step forward, where I was like, wow, these people went through really similar experiences and found their way out. So give it a try.
You so like the online groups, they were kind of like sobriety groups and things like that you had found?
Yep.
Okay. And so when you first start, I don't know if everybody understands too sometimes with the sobriety, and everybody's alcoholism, if you will, is different. Some people drink from the morning till night, all day, every day, and it's different. But did you find yourself? Let's see, what's the best way to ask this? Where you were maybe more emotional, more negative when you quit for a little while, like the dry drunk, I think is one term they use.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely was the first to admit, to my friends or whatever. I was like, this kind of sucks. I was bored. It's tough. And especially when you're drinking, your reward system's totally shot. Because if you're drinking, an alcoholic, anything's a celebration, right? So it's like, oh, cool, I finished work today. Let's have a drink, So my reward system was shot. You lose a lot of your social circle most of the time. Luckily, I have a lot of friends that are already sober in my life, just because they never really got into it, which is awesome. So that was easy for me to find people to help that way. But yeah, when I first quit, I was like, I'm bored. This sucks. I don't feel any different. Fast forward, it probably took, I don't know, 2 months for me to realize, like, okay, this is good. This is good. I'm feeling better. You know, your mental space is kind of back to where it should be. So yeah, it definitely took time. And that's the biggest leap I think I have to tell people when they're like, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, well, buckle in. It's really hard, and it's not going to feel awesome when you first do it. But, yeah.
I find that really interesting that you say you have friends that have already determined to be sober, if you will, or weren't really into it. And so you guys are like in your mid-20s, and I'm not really sure I can think of a friend that was, I don't think, that was really sober or didn't drink, maybe a couple, maybe. So I think that's pretty cool that, I guess what do you guys do? I mean, when you get together, you play cards.
Yeah, right. Well, so the funny thing, I say friends, like it's a lot. It's two people. Well, three. My partner actually got sober the same time I did. And if it weren't for them, I don't know that I could have done it fully by myself. Because when I'm around it, like I still won't go to a bar or anything like that because I don't trust myself in that setting. Because the minute I see someone with a drink, I'm like, oh man, that one's kind of good. But we're getting better. Anyways, the other two people, my best friend, I've known him since the second grade, so it's a really long front, like 20 years. Just never really drank. So that relationship's always been there, whether I was sober or using. Like he's always been very patient with me. So that nothing's changed there, which is nice. So we just hang out, talk, do anything we normally would. And the other friend actually is my sister. Call her my friend because she's like literally my best friend, which is nice. Not a lot of people have that. And it's funny. She went through the same exact things I did, but took a totally different direction, growing up, which is I'm thankful for. She's, I don't know, probably the smartest person I know, and she doesn't even know it. But
does now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so that helps. So we just hang out like siblings, I guess.
Have you found that you do have friends though, or certain circles that have drifted apart now that you aren't partying or you aren't socially drinking now?
Oh, absolutely. But before deciding to get sober, that was the first thing I knew was going to happen. That's just kind of a given. And nothing against those people, but it's just what happens. Especially at my age range, like I explained to you earlier, I'm almost 26. It's kind of what you do in college, or what's expected. So yeah, we'll keep in touch. Still love them, but it's hard. You don't see them anymore, but it's okay. And I'm always here for if they ever want to do something sober,
It's kind of a interesting mental shift too that I'm not sure everyone always understands, that if you're not someone that struggles with alcohol daily, like you're if the term functioning alcoholics may be correct, where you can go up 2 weeks without drinking or whatever, but you do drink and then it's just full on, if you will. And that's when you have your troubles. But like, so when you quit, it's, I don't know, you go to a professional event or something like that, and maybe you're feeling weird or off, but no one else maybe even cares, but you do. Do you have those kind of feelings? Have you ran into any of that so far when you're kind of out and about, or maybe you're just feeling kind of weird? But
oh, for sure, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I don't go to bars, but you go to a restaurant, you go to any, like you said, public event. There's more than likely going to be someone drinking. It gets better with time. At first, I kind of just wanted to avoid them altogether because it's like, oh man, a big reason I drank is because I'm an anxious person, like socially, pretty quiet, shy until, it takes time to open up. So that was a big reason I drank, because I could just be, hey, right out of the box. It was easy. So those were always tough. Still can be, but what I found helped is with time, being sober, I just start to come out of my shell more naturally. I don't need alcohol. I'm more comfortable with myself. So they're really not as tough as I had anticipated. But yeah, there's definitely moments where you kind of want to panic, but I just have to remind myself, take moments to go ground myself, whether that's, run away outside for a second, take some deep breaths, come back, be like, all right, let's go. But yeah, I kind of realized too, we think about ourselves a lot more than people really do think about you, because you're constantly, what do they think about me? Am I saying the right thing? It's like, no one's thinking about you that much.
Yeah.
So just, yeah.
Very good. Have you found that you have this new mindset though, where as you've been, the Ally that you were before, if you will, while you were drinking, it seems, and maybe, I mean, I drank for what seemed like 20 some years, and now I've been sober for over 3. So I don't know. It seems like sometimes how you think about something or you approach a situation seems like it's completely different person sometimes. Do you find yourself in that mindset ever, versus how maybe you would have approached a situation 4 years ago, or even 6 months ago, or a year ago, or something like that?
Yeah, 100%. I think kind of to the point, what's hard is almost shedding that version of yourself that was, because I think that was a hard part for me to come to terms with too, is so many people knew me as that person, because I drank like my whole adolescent life up until now. I should not now, but I was like the fun party, like great time. Just, yeah, I don't know, life of the party kind of thing. People are like, oh, well, I know who will want to go out. I'll know who want to do this. So having to change and now taking a complete 180 and being like a homebody, it's been weird. It's been enjoyable, but yeah, now situations like, I'd like to say I was, inside still the same person. Because I wasn't a confrontational or angry or mean kind of drunk, I guess you could say. But
Yeah.
I would say I do things a lot less confrontationally now. Not that I was confrontational, but I would just come right out of the box with something. Whereas now I'll be more mindful of how to approach different situations,
Yeah.
So that's nice, is stopping to think about things before you do them, for sure.
Yeah. Green, I want to get you in there.
You were talking about, you said you grew up with parents that drank, things like that. Since we are involved in social media, what advice, a lot of kids are on Facebook, we have TikTok, you're being live streamed there right now. What sort of advice do you have for kids that think that, well, it's okay, mom and dad did it all my life, well, maybe I'll start drinking. But those kids struggled in that home life. What kind of advice do you have for them to kind of give them another fork in the road to go a different direction and not follow mom and dad's habits or their path?
See, that's what's tough, because like I explained in my narrative, when I was the kid with the alcoholic parent, living with them, watching everything, unfold, for the most part, I looked at it like it was a good thing. It was exciting. I can't wait to be like that. And it wasn't until you really start to see the bad things more and more and more and more that you realize, like, oh, I don't like this, right? But maybe not every child has that experience. So leaning into not, because I think the statistic is you're literally 50% more likely to be a drinker if you grow up with alcoholism in your family. So that's already not a great statistic, you know. But recognizing it as soon as you can, staying, like, literally being involved in anything you can, like as a kid, whether that's sports, nurturing your creativity, like writing, art, whatever it is. I think those are really, really important. And, you know, sometimes the child's too young to even realize what's going on, but therapy and counseling are always a great, you know, path for anybody, whether you need it or not. I think everyone can use it. So that's really important. And I think that, granted, I still ended up using, if it weren't for that therapy or counseling sort of things I went through as a kid, I think I would be in a much worse position than I am now. So I'm grateful for that. But yeah, I mean, nurturing your relationships with the healthy people in your life. And yeah, nurturing your passions, really staying busy and leaning into the positive things.
Okay. And now that you are sober and you're finishing up with school, you said?
Yep.
Yeah. You have decided to take it to a career. You're going to be a counselor possibly in the future. Is that you're at Human Service Agency now helping with families? Tell me what your plans are.
Yeah, so I will be graduating with my bachelor's in psychology this April, end of the month. And right now I'm doing case management for families through systems of care coordinator. So we work with families that might be struggling with, you know, resources, support, and we work with them and provide them with that, you know, whatever it is they need. We kind of just make goals and try and help them achieve them, try and help them navigate through whatever life challenges may be handing them. So, yeah, I really enjoy it. I like this field of work a lot, especially given the background I have. It's really easy to resonate with people who can be struggling. Eventually, I would like to further my education, so still up in the air whether I want to lean more towards the counseling or social work or addictions, but you know, it all kind of ties in together at the end of the day. But
Okay. That's my questions so far.
Very good. I was kind of curious, how is your relationship with your parents now?
so in that essay, I explained that, well, my mom wasn't here, she doesn't care. Like, I wanted that to stand out because I wanted to show that I was glorifying my father, right, in that moment. Because my mom was around, but they were divorced. She worked as an ER nurse in Minneapolis, so she would travel. And when we were with her, going from all the craziness, spending time with her, it was like, okay, well, this is kind of boring, right? She's not fun. So I never had an issue with my mom. We have a great relationship. We've been through a lot. You know, she had to deal with my addictions then following growing up. So we do have a great relationship. I'm very thankful for her. As for my father, he moved away, like I explained in that essay. I think I was like around 10 years old. So I'd go visit him every summer and live with him wherever it was that he was living. Used to be in Montana. Moved to New Mexico for a bit. I lived there. Lives in Colorado now. I moved there for a while. I moved back now. I still visit sometimes. We have a relationship. It's about as good as it gets right now. Like, we're fine, but it's one of those things, you know, where that it feels like a friend and not a parent. He congratulates me on my sobriety. I've sent him the essay. He's never said anything back to it. I don't know. I do love him. I know his heart's in the right place, but yeah.
he still drinks then?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe to the extent of which he was at this time in my narrative. Because like I explained towards the end, he moved away to get better. I'd like to say he's better. I don't know how much. He's not in my life much. But we've definitely had our talks. We've kind of, I walked him through all this, and I'm like, you saw what I went through, right? And he does apologize, but I guess at the end of the day, he says, well, it made you who you are. I'm like, well, you have a point, I guess. Can't take that back. So,
yeah. I think people, that's another thing too that you don't understand until you kind of go through it, that, well, there's so many aspects of addiction. There's pride and there's shame and there's guilt and all these things. But when you're dealing with parents too, you kind of hit it there with me too, was, the friends feeling instead of like being the parent, or they're kind of buddy instead of guiding you, or sometimes you feel like you're guiding them instead of, it's the other way around and stuff. It's like, hey, I shouldn't be telling you this.
Yeah.
You should be the other way around. And then you get like frustrated. So there's all those weird dynamics that you deal with. And does, if you were to have children in the future, if that's in your cards or you want to, is that something that you're cognizant of already? Like, do you think about that kind of thing? How you would deal with that even?
It's funny you asked that. I mean, it's been a running thing. I am very open about never wanting kids.
Sure.
But I mean, sure, yeah, it's definitely something I've thought of because, I brought up my sister earlier. In the situation we were in, she's the older sister by 2 years. She became then parentified. She kind of felt like she had to protect me in a lot of ways. Fast forward, she has a kid. Now he's 9. And I feel, in some ways maternal over him. Like, I just love him. I love having a nephew. Don't want a kid. Nephew's enough. But, yeah, I mean, we kind of talk about that stuff a lot. I mean, because both of his parents are sober. They don't drink. So he never had to experience that. And it just kind of makes me happy that it's not even like a thought in his head. Like, he doesn't open the fridge and see beer or, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just crazy, reflecting the two circumstances we grew up in. It just makes me happy. But yeah, I mean, if he ever has any questions, the older he gets, granted, he's 9 years old. He isn't asking about drinking yet or anything, but I'd definitely be more than happy to kind of step in and be really open and honest about having those conversations and kind of really explaining the risks. I mean, not to sound like a doctor, but, like, hey, this isn't our family. There's a very good chance that that's a slippery slope for you. But, and then explaining there's safe ways to do it, because you can't tell a teenager to not do something. They're going to do it more than likely.
Yep.
So, yeah, I guess just being open and honest, just laying it all out on the table.
Right.
And be like, do with that information what you will, right?
Right. Well, and I appreciate what you said too, because I think there's some of that traditionalist out there with, the marriage and have kids and the white picket fence and so on, that can put some of those expectations out there and gives people a little stress and a whole thing out there too. So people don't want to have kids or get married or do certain things. They don't have to. So we appreciate that too. But I know you got to get to work too, so I don't want to be talking too much. Do you have any more questions?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I want to
cool.
say congratulations on your sobriety and thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to post your essay with the upload that we have too. And then I don't know if people do have questions, we'll just field them to you, or ask for you or something like that. But to wrap up, is there anything that you want to say to the peoples or anything like that before we wrap up?
I guess my advice would be, even if sobriety has crossed your mind or, sober curious, definitely reach out. Like I said earlier, social media is a great segue into that. If you don't feel comfortable utilizing a community source such as Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, anything like that, yeah, just reach out. Reach out to me. Reach out, like I said, to any of these groups. People are more than willing to help and, yeah, be of aid to that.
Awesome. Okay, Ally Helle, thank you very much for coming and sharing this. The essay is Alcoholism, a Narrative Argument Essay, and we'll have that out very soon. And yeah, congratulations, and thank you for doing this and for being a part of the good in the world that's helping touching lives. So appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
You bet. All right, well, that does it here for Northeast Radio SD, and we'll get you back to